This show is brought to you by Databril, the scalable Amazon PPC management for large Amazon sellers and brands. Visit sellersessions.com/agency for more details. Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Today I bring in Ted. How you doing, Ted?
Good morning.
Excellent. What time is it over there?
It's 10:30.
And whereabouts are you based?
I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Lovely. So I bet the weather's very nice over there most of the year round, isn't it, in Florida?
Yeah, it's getting a little melty right now, but otherwise, yes.
Yeah, no, we get like about 2.5 hours a year of sunshine in the UK. So hopefully we're going to get this extended. But cool, right. So today I'm going to talk to you. Obviously, you're an Amazon seller, but the key thing I want to talk about today, because I keep going on about it all the time, and I say to people about selling off of Amazon. You know, it's almost like you don't hear many success stories. So I like to be as wrong as much as possible. So I want to find more people that are selling off Amazon, that not just 5, 10, 12% of your sales, that is 40 and 50%, and to understand why, just so that more Amazon sellers can diversify their risk. Because 9 times out of 10, most people that attempt this to get it anywhere near a 50-50 will either fail or they give up on it. And so today really is about speaking to yourself about your journey with this.
So yeah, so I've been selling on Amazon for a long time. I forget exactly when I started, but I was doing something with an individual plan and selling some stuff that I'd had made through a Kickstarter on Amazon, but I wasn't doing anything, extremely serious on it. And then after we got going for a while, it was fall of 2015 when everyone started getting hit with suspensions because Amazon unleashed like a bunch of bots around that time. Mm-hmm. And, someone had always told one of my former bosses had always said, look, if anybody can snap their fingers and make you go out of business, then it's never been your business. It's always their business. So it's, kind of the thing I realized is I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working for Jeff. Yeah. Like I quit my job at corporate America. I'm working for Jeff. So we had a couple private label brands, and basically I kind of set about setting up 2 of those private label brands to have our own Shopify store. So we run on Shopify because it's easy. It's certainly not the most configurable, but the thing I love about Shopify is sometimes I'll be talking to somebody about something and they'll say, hey, why don't you try this? Yeah. And I snap my fingers in, I go and I look at, I go look at the app store and I find a solution for that problem. Right. So, so basically fall of 2015, we did that. We set up our Shopify store. I think we actually officially opened it sometime around November. Mm-hmm. Did a little bit of business just because we sold out at Amazon. So it was interesting because I had some inventory that I knew was never going to make it, but we were able to sell some of that inventory. It was, so around Christmas of 2015 and sold some stuff that way. Kind of struggled for a while and kind of wandered through the desert is what I like to call it is we struggled and, but I just kept kind of cranking away at it. And one of the guys that I follow, that's a big venture capitalist, he's exited companies for billions of dollars. He always talks about there's no silver bullet. And I feel like with Amazon, it's so easy to go make money on Amazon. Like you can launch a product and there's only a couple levers. And I think because you only have so many levers that you can pull, it kind of makes it a little bit easier to make money or to say, hey, look, this isn't working because the market's changed or something else. Right. Yeah. And so I think one of the issues, and I think the thing that people struggle with on Shopify is, there is so much that you can do and you don't necessarily get the feedback. I think the feedback loops on Amazon are a lot slower. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are looking for well, what's my silver bullet for how I start making sales? What's my silver bullet for this? And the answer is there aren't silver bullets really for selling off of Amazon. It's really just a lot of lead bullets. It's really just an accumulation of a lot of things that you can do that lead to it. And really, when you kind of get down into it, Danny, is you're trying to replicate what Amazon's done, right? So with an average conversion of, I've heard it quoted at something like 10% on mm-hmm. Amazon, that's because of all the things that Amazon has done over the years to kind of accrete, customer trust and urgency and things like that. And so you have to do that off of Amazon. And I think a lot more people are more willing to, in the last couple of years, also buy things not from Amazon, because people are kind of understand now, hey, if I don't like it or I get hosed, I can just do a chargeback on my credit card and get my money back, right? Yeah. So that's really kind of our journey. It took us a while to kind of get it turning and the crank turning. I think I could probably turn around and replicate what we're doing today in probably about 3 to 6 months for a different brand if it was the right brand. The other piece too is a lot of people do branding and they think that putting a sticker on something is a brand. And I think that the reason why we've been successful is because our brand is an actual brand. We have a voice. Yeah. People will, so I'm in Facebook groups and I see people talking about our brand and they basically lay out exactly how I wanted our brand voice to be. And so that's something that I don't think a lot of people that build quote unquote brands on Amazon do. I certainly had and so as you said, you tell people, hey, sell on Amazon. I certainly have given up money because I haven't been focused on Amazon. I've been focused on this thing. But it is a diversity play, and it is something that I control because I have multiple sources of income even on our Shopify store.
Yeah, makes total sense. So, for instance, like obviously we're friends, and I know what your products are. And what I would say about that, what the niche that you're in, it's a lot different to the spatula and the plastics that are coming straight out of China in what you do. And I think that's a big differentiator as well, because I think if you're on Amazon, you're in home and kitchen and you go the traditional route, or you're in sports and outdoors and you're doing compression socks, and do you see what I mean? A lot of the shoebox kind of stuff that you can find easily on Jungle Scout and the other tools is going to be more difficult to build upon. And I know that you've got great branding is one thing. You've got products that can sell well in seasonal times like Christmas as well, haven't you?
Yeah. And so, to kind of back into it, I started as a private labeler, doing stuff like the compression socks and things like that. Right. Yeah. But we kind of assessed the marketplace. We used Jungle Scout to kind of find this niche. And it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, I understand that niche very well. I can make a lot of hay there. Now, how do I differentiate? And so we were always good at bundling. We started doing some, liquidation arbitrage. And so we were always good at bundling. And so that's one of the things that we're really good at is doing the bundling. And I think that's why we're able to kind of gain traction, especially on Amazon. Yeah. It's funny because being an Amazon seller, anytime I buy something on Amazon, I save all the packaging and stuff like that. So like I've got a set of silicone tongs here, and I always look at the branding and the packaging and I'm like, yeah, but I can't really build a brand around this. They're trying to, they're doing good packaging and everything else, but I don't really care about my tongs. Yeah. So I think that's the other kind of the pieces. If you're going to build a store where people are going to go back and buy from you over and over again, it's got to be something that they have a connection to. Yeah. And it has to be something that they're going to have. It's going to they're going to be able to have kind of part of an identity with. And so that's one of my that's one of my big things about like when we look at, are we going to spin up a Shopify store for something is it something that people can connect with and have be part of their identity? So conspicuous consumption, you think about like Beats by Dre, their headphones, or like Apple. When they originally did the headphones, everybody else's were black and they made white. So people knew that you were using an Apple product.
Yeah, totally. The other thing is visibility. That's one of the most difficult things for most sellers that have only sold on marketplaces that then go off channel onto their own website. It's a whole different landscape once you start getting into doing proper SEO and building traffic back to your website and working out customer acquisition costs, long-term value of the customer, cart abandonment. How did you take all that on and make your Shopify store a success?
Yeah, so certainly in the beginning, we did it very poorly. But terms of service have changed a little bit with Amazon. It was always that you couldn't drive them off Amazon. We do product inserts saying, hey, let us know if you have a problem. Certainly like a lot of other good private labelers do. But that also allows us to kind of get our brand name out there. As far as visibility is concerned, we really started doing, the first thing we tried Google AdWords, didn't really work out for us, moved to Facebook. And we had a lot of success with Facebook ads initially, which was unfortunate because I think if we'd have had a little bit more of a failure, or if it had been kind of a meth thing, I think we'd have actually gotten better faster.
Yeah.
And so now we're really good at basically liquidating the front of our funnel. So just having a self-liquidating offer where we break even on the front of the funnel, but our retargeting campaigns, our back funnel upsells, and via email and everything else. And that's why I kind of said it's just a lot of lead bullets. It's a lot of little things that you do, like, our cart abandonment rate. I think it's like 23 or 24% of our cart abandons are successful.
Yeah.
Because we spent a lot of time testing and working through what makes a compelling offer, getting rid of the generic stuff that Shopify puts in there and putting in stuff that kind of resonates with our customers with that brand voice. And so then that's one of the other things too, is that we made it so that we thought we're very intentional with every interaction a customer has with us, making it so that it resonates with our brand voice, making it so that it's an experience and that we stand out, and it's a little kooky. So it'll resonate with our target customers, and maybe the people who don't care about it, it won't resonate with them. Right. So, there's a guy named Derek Sievers who, ran CD Baby.
Yes.
And they talk about, so he's got that whole email sequence, which is an amazing sequence. And so that was the thing that I kind of, held up, as like, this is what we want an experience to buy from us is going to be like. And we have customers that come back year after year and keep buying from us because of that emotional impact and emotional connection that we had with them.
Yeah, sounds good. So obviously that you're using Facebook as a paid channel. Are you using any organic traffic from Facebook? As you managed to drive that as well, or?
So we're using Facebook. We are using Google now. We did manage to find an agency that was able to get us profitable on that. It's not as much. Part of that was because we started focusing on social proof, so we have a bunch of reviews. We do get organic from Facebook. We get organic from Instagram. And so it's going to sound like we're all over the place, but again, we were very intentional about how we did it. We made sure that we kind of established a kind of a beachhead on all these different social media sites so that we at least like put our name in, and we got our accounts and stuff like that set up, because some people will just go find you on Twitter or Facebook or whatever and follow you. But we kind of established our beachhead, drove pretty heavy with Facebook because that's where our users were. Yeah. And now we do Pinterest, we have some Twitter, we have some YouTube, because again, there are people who kind of like, they just hang out on that particular channel. We get organic from all of those. I'd say that Facebook is the biggest driver, although I think that Pinterest might kind of be the dark horse, because of the way that Pinterest pins work and the way that you end up potentially ranking for stuff on Google image search, which is one of the largest. I think it's like the third largest search engine after YouTube. Yeah. So sites will traffic will come to us directly from Google image search, and we'll kind of go back and try to figure out like where it came from. And we're like, yeah, it looks like that was a Pinterest pin that kind of went really well. So it doesn't show up as being Pinterest, but it's a Pinterest pin is what it ends up being. So
yeah, makes sense. In terms of natural search traffic coming from the search engines, what work have you put in there in terms of information architecture and the site and stuff like that?
Yeah. So one of our, I have a guy who helps me with marketing, and he started as an SEO guy. So we spent quite a bit of time on it. It's basically just getting it so that Google establishes trust. With Shopify, you can't get super, super, super in depth on details of stuff. And this is something that drives some people crazy. But again, I do the 80-20 on things. Like we could go spend a lot more time and move over to WooCommerce and other stuff like that. But we're not in business to be SEO people. We're in business to sell our products.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for us to spend lots of time to try to maybe get that little squeaker. I'm fine with being top 3 search results for lots of keywords. So
yeah. But I mean, how do you build that in terms of with the content? Do you do any like content seeding? Do you write blog posts and articles on the website?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that we've gotten better at as we go through. But basically what we do now is we write the content and then we will basically syndicate it using Zapier. Syndicate not necessarily the content. You don't want to run into the duplicate content thing, but we syndicate, hey, there's this content to kind of the bait. We're big Russell Brunson fans, so we're making the bait for our customers, right?
Yeah.
And then we syndicate that across Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. Which is something a lot of people don't talk about.
Well, Tumblr it's gone a bit quiet, isn't it? It had the big purchase by Yahoo when Marissa was there, wasn't she?
Yeah, and it's not going to work for every niche, right? And again, I'm not saying focus on every niche, but sometimes all you have to do is just show up and put something there, right? And I forget what the number was. Somebody else that runs his own Shopify store was like, you talk to other businesses and they're like, yeah, are you on Tumblr? No. Yeah. And there's, 100 million, 1 billion blogs on Tumblr. So it's crazy how much traffic there's there. And sometimes all you got to do is just show up and put something on there in order to at least capture the traffic from that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Totally. I think one of the key things is like with any channel and any business I've started since about 2010, because we lost a lot of money back in the day on the first venture. And one of the things I wanted to do and we didn't have the capacity to do was paid search. And it's like when the one mistake you learn from. So any business I start today, as long as it's got a paid search angle to it, and I know I can throw up a landing page and there's enough search volume there and I can attract customers, I'm halfway there to the success of that business because paid search is my game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Go on.
I think the thing, and again, big Russell Brunson fans, I think the paid search is great because it also allows you to validate whether or not anybody cares.
That's it, as quick as possible.
Right. So if you have all your retargeting, and we think of it as like a series of nets, and maybe they come from Tumblr to see us, but then they're going to get retargeted on Google or they're going to get retargeted on Facebook. So that allows you to throw traffic at it and iterate quickly, which is one of the things I completely agree.
I think for me, social plays in the long tail. I don't do a huge amount of social. I like 80-20 rule like you. If I can get there with paid search early doors and I can make it work, then, organically you should be able to make it work over a longer period of time. Right. And I think where people get confused as well is that they only think of, say, all right, this Facebook. And I believe that you have to find that channel for your business, right? So you might have to try 10 or 12 channels. 9 and 10 of them will fail. One will really stand out and maybe a secondary one will give you 30% of your traffic or whatever. But ultimately, you have to keep spinning the wheel until you find the right channel. I mean, some people might be LinkedIn ads. Some people might be Google ads, or it's Facebook ads, or like you said, Pinterest. It might be an SEO play that you do across multiple search engines that gives you the composite whole.
Yeah. And, so as we kind of we go through a regular assessment of our competitors. And one of the things we saw was this one competitor, a majority of their social traffic they were getting was from Twitter.
Yeah.
And we get nothing. I mean, it's effectively 0% of our business is done as a result of Twitter stuff. Now, like I said, we syndicate out to Twitter, our post and things, but we couldn't figure out, we can't figure out how to crack that nut.
Yeah.
But we basically, it's because, we'll keep playing and keep doing, a minimal amount of effort there. But it's definitely something that's like, well, if these other ones stop panning out, maybe we really need to go in and look at Twitter. And I think where they're successful is Twitter's lookalike audience capabilities, which is what we use for, Facebook. I think a lot of people don't know that you can build lookalike audiences on Twitter and market to people. So, we're probably going to be playing in that space here and doing some more experiments with Twitter in the near future because of that. But I completely agree. Go kind of try to see where your customers are, for the social, and then run with that, make that work. And whenever you stop getting the growth results that you want, then start looking at the other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of revenue, the split, we're saying with you're roughly 50-50. So 50% of your revenue comes from Amazon and the rest comes from off of Amazon.
Basically, this month we actually might end up doing more on Shopify than on Amazon. Yeah. Part of that is because of launches. We see a bunch of competitors launching into our space on Amazon, so they're just kind of draining the market a little bit. Yeah. But I think part of it's seasonal too, so we can plan a little bit easier with off Amazon promotions and contests and things than we can necessarily on Amazon. I know there's a bunch of tools to do that on Amazon, but again, if I have an opportunity, I would rather spend that opportunity to grow my business than to grow Jeff's business. Yeah. So I think this month we just did our quarterly review a little bit early because of the 4th. And I think this month we're going to end up doing a little bit more off of Amazon, specifically on Shopify. Like I'm not even counting eBay and Walmart and all that other stuff, but like I think the split ends up being we'll do a little bit more just with Shopify.
Cool. And you just mentioned Walmart. How are you finding that in eBay? Are you getting any much luck there, or you just set and forget over there?
Is this a PG-13 thing? Because
no, you can swear. You can do what you want.
We fucking suck at Walmart. And I as part of our quarterly, I kind of go and look at things. I think we have a lot of room to grow on Walmart. The issue we have with Walmart is that the feedback loops are so slow. It's like you're on Amazon with all the rules on Amazon, but the feedback loop is similar to what it is with Shopify. Yeah. So I think we have a lot of room to grow there because everybody I talk to says, man, we do a lot more business than you guys are doing. I think it's because of the SEO aspect of Walmart. I think we need to get better at it. Yeah. But frankly, I don't know if it makes sense to spend a lot more time on Walmart just because they are so hyper focused on price. Yeah. That I mean,
you don't want to gut your brand on the market, do you, in terms of pricing? Because it's right. Like you might as well do a Me Too product on Amazon.
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's you can kind of run the playbook, right? Like maybe we don't run with our brand name primarily, right? And maybe we just kind of white label our product on Walmart just to get the sales. Yeah. But is that worth the effort? And kind of the other piece to it is I just don't know if it's going to be worth it for the volume for Walmart.
Yeah. Same for eBay. What are you finding over there? You finding the customers a little bit more price sensitive, or?
Yeah, eBay. I think most of because of the shipping address, I think most of our eBay orders actually end up being international customers. Yeah. I remember what I was going to say is I think it's Charlie Munger, like Warren Buffett's right-hand man, that said, look, if you can't be the price leader, there's zero value in being the second best priced. And so that's kind of where we're at with Walmart is we feel like we could do better just kind of organically, just to kind of lead with the quality leader. But because of, basically the way we feel like, especially in our niche with Walmart, is that there's so many of the foreign sellers in there driving the price down that it doesn't necessarily even seem to make sense because we can't get the kind of the quality recognition. We talked to Walmart about I think it's their Spark program, which is kind of like the paid reviews program for them. Yeah. And it still just doesn't kind of seem like it's going to do anything based on their algorithm. What Amazon is so brilliant at doing is they give you the tools to go make decisions based on data yourself. Yeah. And Walmart doesn't do that. So it's kind of like flying a plane and it's not a big cargo plane like it is with Amazon. It's a smaller plane with worse tools. And so it's just kind of like, I don't know if it even makes sense. I don't know what percentage of sales other people are getting. Some people are saying they get like 50% of their sales on Walmart. Yeah. I mean, it's a rounding error. It's a rounding error for us. And we spent quite a bit of time rolling out for it. It's a bit of a disappointment, but yeah.
Okay, so going back to the Shopify thing, if you were to advise anyone in the audience, because obviously doing near enough 50-50 or surpassing that now, what would you say are the 3 key things that people need to do if they're going to do their own Shopify store and blend, like either come off Amazon or work with the two?
Yeah. So again, there are no silver bullets. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to potentially be a fight. The thing that I would say is there are terms of service, legal ways that you can get customers off of Amazon without, directly, soliciting them to leave Amazon, right? And so inserts are key. And I'm not talking about hey, go buy on our site and do that. No, that's against terms of service. You'll lose your account. But there are ways that you can kind of increase that visibility. So one, I would consider that you have a customer base. The other thing that I would say is really look at the purchase process for successful Shopify stores and really look at what they do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that are just getting started on their Shopify stores that I talk to, I'm like, look, like you don't have any of the stuff that makes someone comfortable putting their credit card number on the internet.
Yeah.
So the social proof in the checkout process is huge.
Yeah.
So Pura Vida is a company that makes bracelets from Costa Rica. Their whole checkout process, look at all the things that they have. They address all the customer concerns in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I would go do that and look at their process. And so that's stuff like, how quickly does it ship? If I get it and I'm unhappy, what happens with it? Yeah. And, do you accept all these different forms of payment? So one of the, in kind of around that whole checkout process is Shopify allows you to easily integrate with a wide variety of payment processors like Apple Pay, like on their phone, all those other things. Do that. Use all of the ones that you can sign up for on there. There's some data we looked at, some case study we saw where it said up to 6 payment processors increases your conversion rate.
Yeah. No, makes total sense. I mean, I'd say the same people as well. Go and look at the secondary market ticketing checkouts, because secondary market is notorious for scammers and everything else. Mm-hmm. So the ones that are above board, that are facilitating, that falls into the legal realms, they are super, super optimized because they're there to obviously sell tickets and to take the weight off the people's minds on purchases. Yep. So that's always a good one. Or any of the major stores that people are into online, the checkout page is key. You could have half your website could be pretty shitty, but if your checkout process is poor, you've got no chance.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there's obviously tons of data on how to build the Shopify store and stuff like that, but that's such a key one. The other thing is be a fucking human. Yeah. And so many people are so used to, Amazon kind of puts you on rails, right? And that's great. But once you're not going to convert as well if you're not a human. So when I talk to people and I'm like, hey, your About Us page sucks. Yeah. Like, be a human, because people actually go to the About Us page
and read it.
If you capture their attention and they're trying to figure out if you're legitimate, they go to your About Us page. And then your abandoned cart page. You need to be a human. You're human to human. Like, you are not a giant corporate monolith. Act like it. And people that connects with people. Like people will connect with that, especially if you have a brand voice and you're trying to attract people that are going to resonate with your brand.
Yeah, makes total sense. Cool. So what's the plan for you now that going forward with launching new products? Obviously, most people are thinking about launching on Amazon, and now in some cases sending external traffic to Amazon to obviously help with ranking, etc. Obviously, with you split between the two, aren't you? It's like, I'd rather spend sending the traffic to my own store because you've cracked the nut, as you said earlier on.
Yeah, and so we so the way that we've done our big new product development stuff, and we'll do like incremental things or like small value sort of SKU add-ons, but whenever we do anything big, we usually go to Kickstarter. Yeah. And we use our email lists as we're heavily focused on collecting and driving email traffic because of our automations there. So we usually go to Kickstarter for stuff. And then after the Kickstarter gets delivered, and we're really good at executing on getting the delivery done, then we push people to our Amazon site in order to actually drive the kind of the initial traction there with new products. And that's great. I mean, that's an amazing thing to be able to do. But we don't focus on. I don't get the analytics that I get with Shopify on Amazon. I think Amazon's getting better at this. But my conversation with someone, about 6 months ago that was trying to get us to drive traffic to Amazon is, I'm like, why? I can't tell if it works. I can't retarget the same way I can retarget elsewhere. I can't get I don't know what's happening. And they're like, well, you'll get a little bit more organic reach and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but then I'm still also building somebody else's business.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. And in terms of analytics, are you just setting up funnels with Google Analytics, or what you doing in terms of analytics on the back end for your Shopify store?
Yeah, so on the back end for Shopify, we do use the enhanced e-commerce portion of Google Analytics. Mm-hmm. And then we'll drill into, we use a tool for Facebook called Ad Espresso. Yeah. Because it allows us to kind of automate some of the
huge amount of split testing and stuff.
Yeah, and exactly. So when we test a new product, we'll try to do split testing. Our customers are majority male. It's like overwhelmingly male, even though our market is not overwhelmingly male. And so that's something that we've been able to kind of identify as, okay, this is a weak spot. We need to kind of work on our marketing towards females, because females drive most of the purchasing decisions in a household. And so what Ad Espresso is great for is giving those analytics and the split testing and kind of automating a lot of that, because otherwise you're going through the Facebook Ads Manager kind of like just squinting at numbers instead of having like red light, green light stuff that you get out of Ad Espresso.
Yeah, makes total sense. Cool. Is there anything you'd like to add before we go?
No, I just, really, it's not something that's going to be an overnight success, but it can definitely lead to both success on Amazon as well as, outside. So if you're sitting on 30 or 50 or 100 grand or more of inventory and you're worried about getting suspended, knowing that you can turn around and sell that through your own site, definitely helps me sleep better at night, and probably would everybody else listening.
Definitely. And what's the best way if they wanted to reach out and contact you for any questions? Is there any way they can go?
Yeah, they could ping me on LinkedIn.
Yep.
It is, I am LinkedIn/in/Ted Corey.
Excellent. Cool. Guys, thank you for joining us today. Ted, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also, show notes can be found at sellersessions.com. We look forward to seeing you again in a few days.